Rock the Ripple. Rock the Ripple. The Rock the Ripple podcast with Narita McInnes.
Let's do this. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Rock the Ripple podcast. I'm your host, Narita McInnes. It is so awesome to be here with you as always. And today, as always as well, I have a virtual sticky note that I have written. And it is to read out a poem written, and a story, I guess you could say, written by Valerie Cox. And it is called The Cookie Thief. If you've heard this before, obviously you'll know what I'm talking about. But if not, let's dive in, shall we? Now, if you are watching this, you might see me looking around because I'm reading this from my screen. And if you're listening, it won't even matter. Doesn't matter. So let's dive in to The Cookie Thief by Valerie Cox. A woman was waiting at the airport one night, with several long hours before her flight. She hunted for a book in the airport shops, bought a bag of cookies and found a place to drop. She was engrossed in her book but happened to see that the man sitting beside her, as bold as could be, grabbed a cookie or two from the bag in between, which she tried to ignore to avoid a scene. She munched on the cookies and watched the clock as the gusty cookie thief diminished her stock. She was getting more irritated as the minutes ticked by, thinking, if I wasn't so nice, I would blacken his eye. With each cookie she took, he took one too. When only one was left, she wondered what he would do. With a smile on his face and a nervous laugh, he took the last cookie and broke it in half. He offered her half as he ate the other. She snatched it from him and thought, oh, brother, this guy has some nerve and is also rude. Why isn't he showing me any gratitude? She had never known when she had been so gold and sighed with relief when her flight was called. She gathered her belongings and headed to the gate, refusing to look back at the thieving ingrate. She boarded the plane and sank in her seat. Then she sought her book, which she almost complete. As she reached in her baggage, she gasped in surprise. There was a bag of cookies in front of her eyes. If mine are here, she moaned in despair. The others were his, and he tried to share. Too late to apologize, she realized the grief that she was the rude one, the ingrate thief. I love that story. It makes me giggle because how funny, but also how crazy, annoying would have that been, thinking they were your biscuits that someone else was taking, and the whole time you were so certain that they were stealing your biscuits, only to realize that you had it completely wrong. You had it completely wrong. He was eating his own biscuits and sharing it with you. And I think the beauty of this poem, this story, is the fact that how often do we think we are 100% certain that we are right? We are 100% certain we know what's going on, when in actual fact, it is the complete opposite. It is the complete opposite. That's why I love that poem and that story, but also asking questions and looking at things and not thinking we know it all. Because, A, how can we possibly know it all? And B, there is so many things out there. There's so many ways to look at things. So that is why I think one of a really powerful question is when you're listening to a YouTube video or someone's talking at a seminar or you're reading a book and you think you've heard it before, and maybe you have, an awesome question to ask yourself is, what more can I learn here? What more can I learn here? Maybe I've heard this before. Maybe I heard that story before, but what else can I take from it? What else? What is this that I'm not seeing yet? It's a funny story, but it's so powerful. And it really does get us thinking about life as well, because when we think we know it all, or when we think we're 100% right, there is no room for us to grow or expand. It's just like a wall. Like, think about something in your life where you are so certain that you know that that's how that situation is. That's how life is. That's how it has been. So that's how it will always be. think about how that creates just a wall, like a block that means that there's no way that you can be anything different. Maybe you've always been someone who's run late for work, or maybe you've, it could be anything like that. Let's use that example. Oh, that's just me. I always run late. And you've just put a wall up, a block. Well, that's just how it is. When in reality, you wouldn't always run late. Maybe you could change that. And it comes to life as well, like how we perceive things and what's going on the planet, in the world. Like if we think, oh no, that like someone couldn't possibly do that, when actually they could, but because we put a block up, I'm like, no, they would never do that. That's a horrible thing to do. But those people may actually not be like you. They may not have the same value system as you, and they may do things that you would never do. But that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that little ditty by Valerie Cox is so powerful, and it really does open our mind up to being able to see things from a different perspective, and to be able to be, really humble and honest with ourselves and go, well, fuck, I've done that before. I've totally done that before, where I've thought I am 100% right here. I know exactly what's going on, only to have it flipped on its head. And so knowing this and being able to ask yourself, what more can I learn here? Or am I actually right here? Being able to reflect, and that helps to grow your self-awareness as well. Because sometimes we think, oh no, I've got it right. But really, do you? Do you have it right? Or maybe, what other ways could I look at this? Is this scenario actually happening as it is? Or am I being honest with myself? Am I being honest and true to myself here? Is what's playing out here am I just shutting a door on opportunities or other ways of looking at things because that's what I've always done? I mean, there's so many ways to look at things and to be able to, excuse me, there's a fly buzzing around. You can see that. But there's so many ways to look at things and to just be really sure. Like right now, as I'm talking to you, I had this image pop into my head. I love to go on walks, and I love to go on walks near the beach, as you know, because this whole podcast is to feel like a conversation, like we're just hanging out or walking along the beach together. Anyway, there's this, there's part of the strip along the way, there's a picture and someone's drawn a 6. So if you're looking at it from one angle facing the beach, for example, it looks like a 6. But if I was to swap and go around the other side, it would look like a 9. So if you had someone standing on either side, one person would say, that's a 6. And the other person would say, no, that's a 9. And both would be right. And both would need to change perspectives in order to change positions and perspectives to see that actually it's also a 9 and it's also a 6. So when we are so certain that we're right with something, there's always the possibility that maybe we're not. So it's about being open as well, open to possibility, open to stretching our mind and challenging ourselves and asking ourselves questions around, well, is this right? And does this feel right? And that's when, of course, our intuition and our discernment comes in, and being able to trust our own inner guidance along the way, and to be humble as well, to be open to being wrong, because that's okay. We're going to get it wrong. None of us are bloody going to get it right all the time. And, as you and I both know, it's the mistakes, which really are, as I always say, opportunities to grow. They're the things that do grow us. I mean, if we're getting stuff right all the time and there's no challenges or opportunities to grow, we're not really seeing how far we can expand. We're not seeing how we can grow, because it's all smooth sailing, and which is great. Smooth sailing's great. But then those times when we're challenged, that allows us to see how how we can show up and how we are as people, and what we need to learn, what's coming up to be healed, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I just think that Valerie Cox cookie thief poem story, whatever you want to call it, it really does it gives you a giggle, and it does get you to look at things, and to look at yourself, and to see where am I just thinking that I am so done right, where there's a good possibility that maybe I'm seeing things differently to other people, which of course happens as well. But yeah, it's a good one to reflect upon. Anyway, so I think I might leave it there. A little Rock the Ripple podcast about Cookie Thief. I hope, that's maybe it's made you hungry. I don't know, cookies, I don't know. But thank you as always for being here, and I love hearing from you. So when you leave a comment and share your thoughts underneath the description, or send me a DM on Instagram, it's awesome. So please keep doing that. Let me know what you think. Have you heard this before, or is it a good reminder if you have, or if you haven't? Let me know what you think. And as always, thanks for being here. And you can catch me as well on my website at naridamckinnis.com. And there you can sign up to join my weekly newsletter. Actually, I'll put that underneath here as well. If you're watching this, it'll be in the description. If you're listening, it'll be in the show notes. So you can sign up to my weekly newsletter and hear from me each week and never miss an episode. So anyway, I reckon we're done. Have a cracker of a day, and I look forward to seeing you next time.